Welcome, guys, to this week's edition of the Ecga Raw review. How are you? What? Kevin's got no voice. Yes! Looks like I'm going to be the one handling the introductioning this week. So, guys, Really? We're good? I can go? Glad you're here. Guys, appreciate you tuning in this week. Had a pretty good Raw, but first we have to get to Over the Limit. It was a lot of fun, had a hot crowd, had a good show. First 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'm gonna give 8.5. Last 40 minutes, maybe 3.5. But no, nothing to complain about. The crowd, great job, good chance, good interaction. Got a chance to slap some of the superstars' hands. Was on TV a little bit. Had our John report signed on TV several times. It was awesome. And then got to meet John on Twitter, WWE's biggest fan. That's WWE's biggest fan on Twitter. And then Frank WWE Clown. If you don't know who they are, John is the one wearing a white sports coat in any pay-per-view. Him and Frank are both on the front row, and Frank is in his clown outfit. It's kind of hard to miss him. He's got a tie on, he's wearing a clown wig and makeup, and they're sitting together. They stand out. Anyway, big-time wrestling fans. They're a good follow on Twitter as well. Make sure you're following them. And then also, as always, don't forget to follow John Canton on Twitter @JohnReport, and then his website, tgrwrestling.com is the new website. It's just a phenomenal website. There's actually a creative debate section on his website. It's super cool. It's the greatest thing. So make sure you check all that out and follow those guys on Twitter. But the show itself was phenomenal. This week we had a pretty good Raw. Getting right into it. CENA in the ring, basically asking Big Show why. Eve coming out. Yeah, evidently CENA was the only person in the Twitter world and internet wrestling community who didn't know Big Show was turning. Everybody else knew it, saw it coming. Not very, not very shocking on anyone's end except for his. But basically, you had Show coming out eventually, saying that none of us deserved an explanation, but his explanation was that Laurinaitis was a man of power, and he had Big Show, who was a giant, last week on his knees doing things he's never done before, like begging. Yeah. Basically said nobody cared when he got fired. That's what led him to sign. John Laurinaitis had a big gaffe. Actually said that he signed Big Show on Saturday, which would make Big Show a WWE superstar, meaning he should have got fired on Sunday when it interfered. They actually had to try to cover it up with Michael Cole later on in the program, saying that no, they were just in verbal talks, and the deal wasn't officially signed until after Over the Limit on Sunday. Either way, it set up Big Show versus CENA for the next pay-per-view at No Way Out. Looks like it's going to be a cage match. We've seen this a few times before, but it's not, for me, it doesn't have a completely stale feeling. Some people may feel that it does, and you're completely entitled to that opinion. We've seen them feud twice before. I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach. I don't expect a great match, but maybe a little surprises, and maybe we can get one. And then you had Otunga coming out and basically sliding all over the place in his baby oil, and that led to a match between CENA and Mr. Baby Oil himself, David Otunga. Squash, 3 minutes, and most of that time CENA was chasing him. Once he got his hand on him, it was over in a matter of minutes. Basically, that led to CENA getting attacked, SHEAMUS making the save, and that set up a triple threat tag match, lumberjack match later on for your main event. They probably thought that was genius, and it was a milestone because it was the first time it's ever happened. I never would have thought to put that together. It's just too much. But anyway, that set that up for the main event. Came back from commercial break. You had Ricardo in the ring, and then as he was getting ready to introduce Alberto Del Rio, Santino's music hit. A little comedy segment there, back and forth. Santino is saying that he didn't. Yeah. I have an art for introductioning. Okay. But it was just a comedy bit. It was okay. Santino hit Ricardo with the Cobra. knocked him down, so he couldn't introduce him. Santino then introduced Alberto, and then the music played for like 3 or 4 minutes during an advertisement of the upcoming 1000th episode, which is going to kick off the 3-hour Raws. That's full of debate in itself, and we could talk about that later on. But that led to a match with Alberto and Randy Orton. The match was going pretty good. It wasn't a great match that they had going. It seemed like they never really hit that next gear. Maybe because it was short, because it was interrupted with Chris Jericho, who came out and just laid Orton out with 3 code breakers. You know, Jericho is really, really intense in this, and it seems like anything he touches, you know, soak it up while you can, guys. He's not going to be around forever. Everything he touches just gets better. Some of you will remember that Orton is the one that punted Jericho out of the WWE back in 2010. So they have that history there if they chose to acknowledge it. This could be really, really intense with a great payoff from the build-up in the match. It would be great, yes. Yeah, Jericho is wearing his magic leather pants. He's invincible when he's wearing those pants. He should wrestle in those things. He should sleep in everything, shower in those pants. You'll never get hurt, ever, doing anything. If you died in those pants, you would stay alive. Whoa. I want a pair of those pants. All right. But anyway, it was very effective. You know, it showed Jericho kind of reaching his breaking point, and that's going to set up a nice feud with him. I'm looking forward to it a whole lot. Then you had BRYAN come out with his Q&A session, pointing out the fact that he made, what we got? Yeah. Pointing out the fact that he did make CM Punk tap. Of course, it was right after the 3 count that CM Punk tapped to get out of the hole. Setting up awesome. We get another BRYAN Punk match. I would say at No Way Out, this is probably going to be a submission match the way that this went, but I'm great with that. Then you had Kane versus Daniel Bryan in a match. This time you saw CM Punk on commentary, and then CM Punk outsmarting Daniel Bryan to let Kane get over on Daniel Bryan. 2 choke slams in the ring after getting hit with some chair shots, and then Punk came in and put the Anaconda Vice on him. So I think that's really going to, Bryan, was tapping. I think it's going to be a great submission match. Hopefully get another 25 minutes like they did this past week. These guys are just, they can't miss. Put them in the ring together. Went to commercial break, came back, and you saw CM Punk walking through the back hallways, and AJ came up to meet him. Basically, AJ's playing her crazy chick routine, starts crying, and then a little bit. I'm okay with it. But no, CM Punk tried to console her. She snapped out of her crying spell like that, and he admitted he kind of digs crazy chicks. That's going to be woven around somehow in the coming weeks leading up to pay-per-view. I'm usually not a fan of these love story things, but if you want to insert this little thing, because they're not overdoing it. It's not every week that she's out costing somebody match. It's kind of little snippets. So I think I'm okay with it. And then you actually, and we had his music playing. First title defense for the new IC champion Christian, who won it at Over the Limit. His first title defense was Jinder, the Jobber Mahal. Basic match. Christian had the upper hand. Mahal had the upper hand, and Christian went over with a kill switch. And then what Cole called a big splash. No, sir, that's a frog splash. Hashtag new announce team. Well, you need to get your voice back first. Then we'll try out. Okay. Then you had a tolerable Divas match. I call it tolerable because it was short, as well it should have been. You had Beth Phoenix going over Kelly Kelly. Layla didn't come out. Watch very concerned from the back area there. Is my response. I think was everybody's response. And then that led to the main event where you had Sheamus and John Cena going against the threesome of Zigzag and Tensai. Some of you have noticed that they've taken Lord out of Lord Tensai's name for obvious reasons on that one. Oh, why? Oh, well, the truth is, as Lord Tensai, he wasn't as effective as a heel as they were hoping for. But it's very factual and obvious that if you remove the Lord from Lord Tensai and just go with Tensai, he now automatically, by removal of the name Lord, becomes the most effective heel in WWE history. I'm good like that. Yeah, I don't know. He's more aggressive. Didn't have his head. He's just more to the point now, I guess, is what they're going with. You saw Sheamus get worked over more than anybody you'll ever see get worked over in a tag match. They gave him about 15 minutes. Everybody got to showcase, and then CENA got the hot tag, and pretty much all hell broke loose then. You had all the lumberjacks coming in, attacking CENA and Sheamus. CENA got away after all the faces came down, got involved in the brawl, made his way to try to find Big Show. Basically, they want to end the show with a big brawl to show how out of control WWE is right now. Fairly effective. CENA made his way to the back area, saw Laurinaitis, asked where Big Show was. Laurinaitis reminded him, said, "You can't touch me." CENA turned around right into Big Show's big old hand to get knocked out to end the show. All in all, I'm going to go with slightly above average because I think it progressed some stuff fairly well. We saw good work with Punk BRYAN. Loved the beginning of the Jericho-Orton feud. And like I said, I'm going to take a very positive wait-and-see approach on Show and CENA. We've seen it a couple of times, but I'm going to take a wait-and-see because it's going to be a cage match. They're not going to put on a 5-star classic, but my thing is, can it just be effective? To me, the show had too much CENA. He was in the opening segment, he had in the first match, and then he was in the last match, and the closing segment backstage. Now, I realize he's been away from the title picture for a while, and that was a big complaint, but still, when you're promoting him that much, it's still going to get stale quick, just like it did when he had the title. It's still the same effect. He's effective if you put him in smaller doses. I don't understand why that's so hard to see. I like him a lot more. The crowds respond a lot heavier if they use him in smaller doses. I don't know. Maybe this is not going to be a sign of things to come. But I'm going to go with slightly above average. Right before we started watching Raw again, actually, right before we started doing the Raw review, I sent out a tweet for if you have any questions, go ahead and ask us. On Twitter, hashtag with hashtag ECGA, so we'll know where to find it at. We don't know everything. Like we said before, we spend way too much time reading dirt sheets and when we should be doing other stuff. But anyway, love to have some questions. I actually had a question this week from Jeffrey Keys, at Jeffrey Keys, at Top ECGA Heel. Charles Robinson and his gloves still bother me. Do you or anyone else have any thoughts on the idea? If you didn't notice it, Charles Robinson in the main event put some latex gloves on. I honestly didn't even see it the first time I watched it. Watching it back after it was pointed out and then rewinding it, he actually put the latex gloves on when Lord Tensai busted himself open, a bad cut right in between his eyebrows when he was headbutting Sheamus. Now, people get cut all the time, and I've never seen refs put latex gloves on. So I don't know if there's something there with that. I don't know. But that's when he put them on. But then what was really strange is he took them off just a couple minutes later. They weren't on very long. You could see him telling him to wipe his forehead. He was still bleeding. But as far as a definite reason why he put the gloves on that time, I honestly don't know. But what caused it was Lord Tensai getting cut. And it's a pretty good cut there as well. So again, if you have any questions, tweet them at Kevin. Kevin's Twitter is at ECGA PTS Leader. It looks like that username is going to be good for a while. Yeah. And then tweet the questions to me or talk anything wrestling at Top ECGA Heel. Wait, what's that say? Top ECGA Heel. And then don't forget to hashtag your question with the hashtag ECGA. What does that say? It's about me? Cool. I like things when it's about me. Yeah, bad guys do. What else? But anyway, guys, we really appreciate you tuning in this week. Make sure you comment, retweet the shows if you don't mind. We'd love to hear your feedback on Twitter. Comment on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to ECGA Co-Founders on the YouTube. That's our network, so you can get reminded when all these shows come out. And as always, we really appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope it's good for you. And as always, without fail, shave your hair. See you guys.